Welcome to Yorkshire Entrepreneur, a new podcast where we talk to special guests about entrepreneurship in God's own county. We'll be discussing all things business, sharing success stories and the struggles to get there, as well as grabbing top tips from business support experts. In this first episode, I chat with Becca Moseley from the Huddersfield Business School about some of the incredible funded support local business owners can access. Hello and welcome to today's podcast. Today I have a very special guest with me, Becca Moseley. She is from the Huddersfield Business School at the University of Huddersfield. Hello, Becca.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here today. So you're from the Huddersfield Business School. Tell me a little bit about your role there.
Yeah, that's right. So firstly, I'm really excited to be here. Again, thank you for having me on. So as you mentioned, I work at the Huddersfield Business School, which is part of the University of Huddersfield. Mm-hmm. I work in the business development team. So my area is all about building partnerships with businesses. So businesses don't always know sort of what support we might offer or the different range of ways that they might be able to get involved with working with us. And so my role is to literally get out there. It might be that I go to networking events, getting in contact with businesses to let them know what we do, from short courses to consultancy, a whole range of things that they might not know we can help them with.
Fantastic. So pretty much any size business, isn't it? From small businesses to, multi-million pound turnover businesses, you're there to help. And when you mentioned about getting out to networking events, well, that's actually sort of how we met. I was at the Kirklees business conference, and that's where we came into contact, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
But before we get into any of that, because we're going to go on to the Help to Grow Management course, which is a course that I'm doing next week, which I'm very excited about.
Brilliant.
Let's hear a little bit about you. So how did you get here to this point? Tell me about your background.
Yeah, so sometimes it's hard to wrap it up. Sometimes you don't really stop and look back at how you got somewhere.
Yes,
But probably not the most expected answer is that I actually went to dance college.
Right.
Which I know is something that we've got in common.
We have in common, yes.
So, trained down in London, doing the dance, musical theatre, all that sort of thing. Went into fitness, and then a few years jumping forward, ended up going into sort of the office side of fitness. I've done all sorts of really varied roles. I've worked in marketing jobs, I've worked in a lot of customer service roles, or to me, all roles that are sort of communication in any way. Yes. Customer service comes into it.
Yeah.
A common theme, so I'm jumping over a few years of jobs there. But
different jobs, different businesses,
Got quite a lot of varied experience in different industries. Mm-hmm. I've done some travelling, so I've worked abroad in Australia as well.
Wow.
But one of the common themes when I think, how am I here? How am I at Huddersfield Business School doing this? Is communication, I suppose, and having a passion for helping people. So I like to go out and speak to people. Mm-hmm. I feel that I can sort of connect with people. Yeah. And going to the Huddersfield Business School, I didn't maybe do the typical route of going through to university, doing the degree and so on.
Yes.
But I found even for myself that the university are very all about personal development and helping their team flourish essentially and grow, and so I'm benefiting from that in different ways myself at the moment, and it just kind of makes you take a different look at education in that you may not have taken the typical route, but there's always something for you there, and it might be that you want to use it later on. And then for businesses, that's an exciting side of the role. Exactly like you said, that's how we met.
Yes,
you meet all sorts of interesting people that have maybe started a business themselves, or they've built up their career through a company that exists already and is doing well. And it's just so nice to be able to speak to them, get involved in their journey and say, we can actually help you with the next step. Yeah. Did you know we do this? Did you know we can help your business grow? So that's what I do.
It's super exciting, isn't it? And I think the fact that you haven't gone through the traditional route, which I didn't either. Obviously, we met and surprised each other when we actually realised we trained at the same musical theatre college in London, which was quite a small college. It's huge now, isn't it? But not going through that traditional route, but coming into something, business related, maybe not somewhere where you ever saw yourself, but you love doing what you're doing, don't you?
Yeah,
having
absolutely.
that, and a lot of it is the networking and going out there, and I guess being in performing arts earlier, that probably helped you with the confidence, because the networking events are scary for lots of people, aren't they? And for business owners, sort of finding the time to get out there, and dedicating the time to go out there and knowing how it can benefit you. But it is quite daunting, isn't it, for a lot of businesses?
I think I'd completely agree. I always say that sort of my performance training definitely helped me with going out there and speaking to people. It just comes into everything that you do, even down to sort of the discipline of what you do.
Yes. Pushing yourself to do something. Stepping out of your comfort zone for things like that.
This.
Yes. Yeah, things like
I never saw this moment that it would come full circle and we're back doing something like this. But I think you've got to take the opportunities that are in front of you.
Yes.
And that's something to keep in mind with going to networking events, because like you say, it can be really daunting. And even for myself, before I was in this role, I can remember sort of early days thinking, which networking events will I go to? What will I say? And you sort of get in your mind, okay, I'm wanting to communicate these few things, but I think if you go with an open mind, sometimes you can get something from it that you didn't expect.
Definitely.
And you meet all sorts of people, businesses of all sizes, like you said.
Yes.
And
so that's something that I'm excited about with the Help to Grow Management course, because this is geared towards small to medium businesses. But there's all different types and sizes of business, isn't there, on this course? Now, before we talk about it, I want to say we need to do this again in a few months' time. Because I'll know more. I'll have learned so much more then, so I'll be excited to talk about it again.
Definitely.
But now, sort of getting me on the beginning of our business, not beginning of our business, but our journey in, the next stage
step
of growth, which I'm excited about. So tell us a bit about the course.
So we're really excited that you're coming on board. So it's quite a nice one to speak about, this programme. So as I mentioned, we do all sorts of things. If you're looking at sort of the training and development side of things, or business growth, we do things like apprenticeships. We've recently relaunched those apprenticeships. So we've got a level 5 and a level 7, which we could go into the detail at another time, but sort of for senior leaders, management, that sort of thing. Maybe more of a longer term course. This programme, it's been going for a couple of years now. This is the fourth cohort you'll be a part of, starting next week on Tuesday. And it's something where it was found that obviously SMEs contribute such a large proportion of towards sort of the economy. And it was found that if small businesses can increase sort of their success by even 10%, then that would have such an impact on the growth of the economy.
Absolutely,
so they're obviously very important for us to be investing in and supporting. And this course, so because it's come off the back of that, it's quite heavily funded. But it's nice to talk about, because I'll tell you a bit about the programme itself, so you've got more context for that. So it's a 12-week programme. It's knowledge packed. You get 12 different topics. It's sort of broken down into 4 sections. So you go on a bit of a journey from when you come through the door with us. You meet the
all
team.
Wide-eyed and terrified.
This will be you next week on Tuesday. You come in, first and foremost, the team are absolutely brilliant. We've built up a strong team of people. So the people that are teaching on the team, facilitating with myself, getting people through the door and letting them know what it's all about. We work quite closely together to make sure we've got a really nice environment for learning and to build a bit of a community aspect. So as I say, you go on a bit of a journey, so it gets you to sort of step back and look at what's going on in your business at the moment. It's for anybody that's wanting to find growth in their business, future-proof their business. The topics range from sort of strategy and innovation to the marketing aspects, finance. So by doing it, you get a really good overview of all aspects that come into running a business. You mentioned we get all different size businesses coming on there. So
what point do you have to be at in your business to be able to do the course? So to be eligible for the course?
Well, in terms of eligibility, so there are a few requirements. You've got to be an SME, which means that you've got to have a minimum of 5 people, maximum of 249 people. So just by looking at those numbers, people can be at really different stages in their business. But in all businesses, usually you find that people are wanting to put something into practice, a plan going forwards for how they're going to grow, how they're going to succeed. Maybe they're fairly early on in the business and they're wanting to get a really strong knowledge base of things that they should be considering, how they can go forward. It might be that they don't have a marketing strategy, for instance, and they might want to be starting that and put that in place. Or they might be quite a well-established business that's been running a while, and they might know one area quite strongly, but be weaker in another area.
In other areas.
So that's something that you can get from the direct learning aspect, but also you get the networking with the other people on the course. So.
Yes, I'm excited to learn from others. There's other businesses there, and so you have peer groups there, don't you? At the end, I know at the end of the first session there's a peer group there, so we get to meet everyone and learn about their business as well. And so that networking element, I'm sure, must come into it. I know you've said previous courses they've sort of collaborated or they've worked with each other after these courses as well, so that always happens, doesn't it?
Definitely. So the different teaching elements of the programme is that we do some sessions online, we do some of them face-to-face. They're all structured around a case study of a business.
Yes, right.
So like you say, by coming in, especially in that first session, you get to know everybody else. So we like to really make sure we've introduced everybody, found out about you and your business, because it's important for the team to understand what you're wanting out of that and sort of the blue sky thinking for your business. By meeting the other people, you get to learn from their experience as well. So we find that by having a peer group call, it's sort of another opportunity to not only solidify and embed the knowledge that you've learned in the topic that week, but start to build relationships with other people. And just as you've mentioned, we've seen that businesses have started working together. So it's just an added benefit, really. But like for instance, we've got someone that did sort of marketing, and one of the other businesses has got involved with them, and they're seeing success from that with what they're posting. What else have we got? I'm obviously
putting you on the spot now.
They'll come back to me. But
but that's great, isn't it? That networking element as well with other businesses, the peer group. But then you've also got mentors, haven't you? That you can have the one-to-one mentors on there. Yeah,
I think that's a really important part to talk about, really, because it's something that's been scored really highly of all the aspects of the programme. The mentoring has come out really well spoken of. And I think that's down to sort of the experience that the mentors have got to have to be a part of the bank of mentors available that are to do with the programme.
And you also get to go on there and see who would work well with you as a mentor, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
I've noticed that. So I've been looking through all the emails that we've got that's telling us about the course. So I'll tell you more about this in 4 months when we have another podcast on this. But I'm excited to go on and look at that.
How did you find that? Yeah, you get to go on and sort of have a pre-look at their profile.
I've just started browsing, and actually been able to look through their profiles and see who you think you'd work best with, really, and who you could get the most out of. So that's really interesting. I'll keep you posted on that one.
Yeah, do. Yeah, we encourage people to do that.
I found that really interesting when I looked. It was like that we've got some say in that, who we think would be,
and I think that's really important, because it might be that you've got a particular goal, or it might be the industry that you're working in that you're wanting to connect with that person over, but as well, people just click better with other people, and it might be that you've spoken to someone, so you can actually arrange to speak with those people and decide, actually, you'd be brilliant, we get on really well, and I feel that you could really support me in my business.
Because that's important, isn't it? You've got to have that sort of, you need to have a rapport with someone, and someone that you think you're going to be able to learn from and get on well with. That's really important as well. So I'm super excited to start next week. You were going to tell us a bit more about the funding side of things for any business owners that are thinking about it. So, and you've also got a course that's just coming to an end, haven't you? And then I'm starting in the 4th cohort, and then there'll be one after that I guess you'll start advertising and people can sign up for.
Definitely.
And so how do you get the funding for this, or how much does it cost, basically?
So it's really well supported by the government. Obviously, being SMEs, we wanting to make it as accessible as possible for people to be able to get that knowledge. So the course is set at £7,500. It's 90% funded by the government, which is amazing. Amazing. So that's £750 for a business. There are some sort of stipulations regarding numbers. So you can send one person onto the course if you're wanting to support someone through that.
Yes.
If you've got 5 to 10 employees in the team. If you've got 10 or more, I believe there was quite a demand for people wanting to be able to send someone else on the course, because there is a lot of knowledge to absorb.
Yes,
and
another manager within the company.
Exactly that. You might work in a different department.
Yes.
So 10 or more, you can actually now send a second person. We want to help businesses with that. So actually at Huddersfield Business School, we're offering a bursary as well for 50% of that cost for the second person.
Incredible, yeah.
Yeah, so that's £375 for the second one. So we've had a couple of cohorts where we've had 2 people from the same company on at the same time, which there's a video testimony from one of those people that you can see on our web page, and they've spoken about that they've both, as 2 people from the same business, you can still look at things differently.
Yeah, they'll pick up different
things.
Elements, I'm sure.
So they've worked together through that one, and we've had it where we've had someone on one cohort and they've thought, this is brilliant, I would like another person in my team to go, and they've done a different one.
Yes.
And obviously the courses are slightly different because we do get different businesses to come in and speak. So I mentioned that they're all sort of built around a case study.
Yeah.
For session 1, and there's incrementally, so 1, 3, 6, 9, 12, we like to invite you down to have that face-to-face visit with us at the business school, in the executive suite, which is a really nice location for a start to have that session in. In between that, they are online, but for the sessions that are in person, we like to invite a business down. So you might be speaking about a case study regarding maybe a renowned business that nationally is known, and you can take lessons from and learn that theory and knowledge from. But then we like to invite sort of people that have found success in business locally, maybe that might be a small business, might be a large business, and their experience and able to speak with businesses, and it resonates with them more how they can take lessons from that.
Which is fantastic, because really on this podcast as well, we're going to be talking to lots of Yorkshire entrepreneurs.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
Yes, it's really exciting, and you will know lots of them as well, but there really are some incredible businesses in West Yorkshire and Yorkshire as a whole. So I'm excited to get lots of different businesses in here to talk about them. When you said about bringing someone else on the course as well, I know for me, because I run Giant Leap with my husband Nick, so we're a husband and wife team, and we also work with some other husband and wife teams, which is interesting, that are brilliant entrepreneurs. So I hope to get them down as entrepreneurs on the podcast. But we've worked with the company Simply Wigs. They're a husband and wife team. Fantastic company that they've got in West Yorkshire. But bringing those entrepreneurs in, they're already flying high as well. That they're doing fantastically well. So I'm sure they've already done business courses and lots of them. But I know for us, maybe not this time for Nick, but I think I might send him on the course after I've done it. See if he picks up some different tips. Yeah, you
can be the guinea pig, and then I'm sure, but no doubt you'll be feeling positive when you come out the other side of it. As I say, it is a fantastic programme. It's
what would you say? So if there's other businesses that are maybe apprehensive about it, I know for us, we definitely feel it's the time now that I need to come and invest the time, and I think for us that was a big part of it. How do I know that I'm going to be capable of giving this much? I mean, it's not lots of time, it's 12 weeks, but I want to be able to make sure that I dedicate the time to doing this and to learning, and I think that might be maybe what would put other people off, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%, and I can appreciate that. I think anybody that's maybe not been in studying or done a course for quite a while might feel a bit intimidated, especially having the label of a university. But I mean, I mentioned firstly the environment that we've created there. It's a welcoming team. It's a very sort of inviting, comfortable environment to learn in. But one of the brilliant things is that it is relatively short, as you mentioned. So it's a 12-week programme. The value that you get from the time that you're putting into it and the cost element is just incredible, really. If you were independently looking for mentors and things like that, it would be quite heavy, a heavy investment financially.
And that's it's the value that you get back, isn't it? So I know for us, and it still happens quite regularly when you're so busy working in your business, you know, and for us, you know, if we've got a big project that we're all involved in, and we're focused on that, we're not necessarily doing the other things outside of the business that we should be doing. I think that's a common problem, isn't it, for small businesses? But actually knowing that this course is about that, is about, you know, creating the time and stepping away from your business so that you've got those other factors in place that the business can run smoothly without you. So getting those systems in place. That's
exactly it. It's all about future proofing and succession planning. So I think that's something that we're hearing a lot of. You get people that have maybe been in industry for a long time, they've got a lot of experience, but then it might be that businesses are wanting to send that next line. So it can be the business owner, or it might be you've got a bit of a larger company and you wanting to send that next level of people that are coming through your management to really get the skills that they're going to be able to lead that business going forward, and look at the strategy and how are you going to grow. I think you're completely right. I think everyone's guilty of thinking, I need to do this, but it's too busy today, I can't do it. I'll do it when I've got time. And actually, when do you ever really get that time? It's like anything, you have to make the time.
Because the reward is at the end, you've learned all this stuff, and if you can implement that into your business, then it's going to grow, even, you know.
That's it. It's kind of like, I suppose, if you looked at it, maybe you were looking at nutrition and you want, you take the time to prepare properly and invest in yourself, but you'll reap the benefits a lot later down the line. So with that, we have had people that have even been on the course and said, I don't know if I've got the time, I don't know if I can step away. But that's sort of exactly why you should maybe be considering it, because obviously they've got a hunger to learn and to want to grow the business. And I think by just taking that time to step back, it gives you a new perspective on, we invite you through the journey to look at how are things running at the moment. What would you like to achieve? What's your blue sky thinking for the business? What plans are in place to be able to achieve that? And give you the tools to build your growth action plan. And that is the real gem from the course. So by being supported by your mentor and taking on this new knowledge, you are putting into action, putting down onto paper essentially what you're going to do. The growth action plan is kind of a main feature of that, where you'll come out the other side with it with hopefully bright-eyed excitement and lots of
fantastic. Do you keep in touch with the businesses after the course?
Absolutely. So after the Help to Grow programme, we very much want to keep in touch, those businesses that want to, obviously, which we find that they do. So we have a facilitator that works quite closely with the business, builds those relationships. Now that we've done quite a few cohorts, we've got quite a network of alumni, and we actually have started to put on alumni events. So a short while ago, it's really exciting. A short while ago, we put one on at Darkwoods Coffee in Marsden. So rather than everybody just coming to the business school, we started doing sort of business school on tour. And invited someone down. There's a learning aspect to that as well. So on that occasion, we got a LinkedIn specialist teaching everybody how to do that. They got a tour of the facilities, and again, the networking opportunity. So it just keeps that sort of relationship, the network live, so they can keep meeting with each other. And as the cohorts grow, they'll keep meeting new businesses as it goes forward. So
I look forward
and
to
some
that.
of the people are working with us in other ways as well. So there's lots that continues once you're finished. A big part of my role as well, not just with Help to Grow, is starting that business relationship. So we don't want to just go, you've done a course and out you go. It's just the start of things. So it might be that you're wanting to do more training and development, or it might be that you come to some of our networking events where we often have a learning aspect. We're running another one coming up soon on the 17th of May, which we do in partnership with the Huddersfield Giants.
I'm booked on.
And you're coming along.
Yes,
Brilliant.
I am coming along,
and they are a bit of an early one, so it's 8 till 10. We do those 3 times a year. And this next one coming up is all about the theme of the mentality of success. So we get different speakers in, usually someone from our academic side, someone from the Giants, and somebody else from within industry that might be great to listen to about that. So that should be exciting. And they're always sort of, you come out feeling inspired by the story that they've got to share. So, and obviously there's no cost aspect to that. People are welcome to come and network, and they might meet other businesses through that. And I think it goes on and on, the opportunities.
It's really important that, as you say, this is just the start of the journey, you know, for those businesses that have just signed up for the course, because they're all going to see growth within their business after doing this, which is fantastic. And then that ongoing support that you're giving them, you know, the other networking events that they can go to. But initially finding out about these things is quite tricky in itself. I wouldn't say tricky if you're out there looking for it, but not everybody knows that this sort of support exists. I know I certainly didn't a few years ago. And so how do you get the word out there? I mean, that's part of your job, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So you make a really good point, and that's a challenge that we have, where we want to get out there and make sure people know what we're doing. But I might throw that back at you. How is it that you did hear about us? So going back a few years is when we first heard about you guys, not necessarily the University of Huddersfield and the business school there. That's come more recently, but we had done a business course. Nick and I did a business course. This is before COVID, actually, for a year. It was very expensive. We did learn a lot, you know, we did learn a lot, but our business was at a very different stage then. Then we sort of had COVID, and that gave everyone a lot of time to sort of refocus, I think, didn't it? Of course, changed everything.
Yeah, it changed everything. We became a bit more focused on the direction of our business, I suppose. And we were looking out there, I suppose, different funding opportunities as well that we were looking for, of things that could help small businesses like ours. And the first thing that we heard about was the Kickstart scheme.
Right, yeah.
So we've really utilised the Kickstart scheme. It's been fantastic for our business. And we've had some super talented young people coming into the business that they've had a great opportunity to learn the skills of video production and editing. You know, we've got some super talented people, but also from Nick's perspective, he's been able to train them up in a way that's great and beneficial for our business as well, and helped us to grow in that way. And then we've also utilised the apprenticeship, or different apprenticeship schemes. We've had different training providers, so we've had a couple of apprentices as well. So we've utilised all of that. So the West Yorkshire Combined Authority, there were incentives out there. So we went looking, I suppose. We went looking for those things out there, and we found through that the #Grow grants that were available for businesses like ours, as well as the Kirklees Authority. So we're in Sisset in Huddersfield, and so we come under Kirklees, and we were introduced to our business growth manager, who has been instrumental in the growth of our business. She's been absolutely fantastic. She told us about you guys as well, and said that our that course would be perfect at the stage we're at in our business now. You know, so since before COVID to where we're at now, we've tripled, as you know, in growth as a business.
Amazing.
And we're sat in one of the studios. We're sat in one of our studios. So this is our second studio now. So we only had the one to start with, and so we've got this gorgeous new studio that we've utilised the grant. Obviously it's all match funded, so there had to be that growth within our business to be able to match fund that, which I think is really important as well.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so it was it's Rachel Thurlbeck from who's our business growth manager, and she's just been absolutely fantastic. She gets all the information out there and tells us what might be helpful to our business, and introduced us to a few different people. But it was
really good
at the Kirklees conference, business conference that we went to, and we came over to your stand that was there.
That's right. It's really good to hear, because we do work quite closely with the growth managers locally to let them know what we're doing. And it's sort of a different kind of partnership. So we working with direct people to each other, and they're brilliant for being able to advise businesses what's out there, essentially. So you've covered a few important points there that businesses could do if they look. The key thing is that you are actively looking. I think that's important.
Exactly,
if businesses are wanting to grow, you do need to sort of put yourself out there and see what's available, but equally it can be overwhelming, the information that you get back from that. So I would encourage you to speak to local authorities to speak to see what funding is available or what training courses. But for us at the business school, we'd invite people to please get in touch. We've got Instagram pages, we've got LinkedIn pages for Huddersfield Business School. We always advertise our events like that. We do a monthly newsletter called Let's Talk Business, where we like to put out a bit of good news stories, things that are going on at the university. It might be something like we've got an employability and placement team.
Right.
So businesses, sometimes that's how they might work with us. They want to take on a student to take on a role within their business.
Yeah.
And obviously that's brilliant for our students that will have that year of work experience and be able to develop themselves.
Yeah.
Often they can lead to graduate roles and things like that, and that relationship continuing. So a lot of the things that we do sort of feed into each other. But I think if you join our mailing list, for instance, we can let you know what's going on, and then you can kind of see that maybe is something for me. We're always open to having conversations, so I think some people can feel a bit like if they connect with you, they're going to have to do something off the back of it. Yeah, I think
some people do have that genuine worry, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what am I going to have to do?
What am I walking into?
Yeah.
But we do that all the time. We speak with businesses. I think it's important to remember that it's something that we're passionate about. We want to help businesses grow. So I say locally, but it's, we've got international business contacts as well that we work with. So it can be from anywhere, and it might be just worth coming to one of our events, speaking with us face to face, and saying, what do you do? What can you do for me? How can we work together? And there's often lots of ways even beyond the
information is out there, isn't it? You've just got to go and find it, and things like coming on this podcast as well.
That's it. Just biting the bullet, and going for it, getting in touch.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to know. We've really, like I said, we've obviously really utilised everything, and we're at a stage now where we're ready to push our business, even more, because we have done an awful lot in the last 3 years and expanded here. But I'm super excited to do it. We've had great help from West Yorkshire Combined Authority, as well as Business Growth Manager, Kirklees Council, and now as well Huddersfield Business School.
Which is brilliant. It's so nice to hear sort of the growth journey that you've gone on, and like you say, you're on quite
there's more.
A bit of a precipice on the curve to exponential growth, essentially.
We've got so many ideas, and that's why at the moment they're just ideas, but going on this course, hopefully they're going to come to fruition. There's lots more that that we could do, but also having this opportunity, for other Yorkshire entrepreneurs, and to be able to almost sort of give back as well and get other people in here into the studio so we can hear about their businesses and their journeys, because I think that's really important and really inspiring for other businesses as well.
I completely agree. It's so nice to,
and you'll have loads of connections.
We will. We've got all sorts
lots
of businesses.
I'm
sure they'd love to get involved with it, and I think it's really great what you're doing here, because it's inspirational to hear from others, and to hear what they've done on their journey, and to find to have that real sort of real person experience and how they felt throughout a journey and what they've done to overcome problems and things like that. It's not always sort of putting on a polished, marketed front.
Definitely.
It's talking about the real difficulties
and challenges. It's important, isn't it?
You
need to hear about those struggles that other businesses have, and that inspires you or pushes you forward, depending on what stage of your journey you're at as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's really important. That's why I love listening to podcasts. As we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? So I listen Stephen Bartlett's podcast.
Yeah.
I listen to that in the car a lot, and how we consume podcasts is different for everybody, isn't it? So I know the chaps here, if they're on their lunch break, they'll often watch podcasts on their YouTube. So they can be utilised in lots of different ways, which is why we're doing them as video as well. Obviously, we would be, but we've now got the skills here in-house to be able to do podcasts like this, so not just audio but video as well, and that's because we can live edit everything. So
which is mind-blowing.
So we people can't see behind the cameras. Maybe we'll put a clip in there, I don't know, but it's all been live edited by our fabulous team. So Rafi's live editing at the moment, so we're switching from camera to camera as we're doing this, which is amazing. But as a product, for a business to be able to produce something like that relatively inexpensive, we know it can be consumed by different types of audience, you know, whether it's just audio or visual as well.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's good for businesses to think outside the box and not do what's always been done before that they used to. That's the whole point. It's like getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And things are changing all the time in terms of marketing and getting your message out there. And to get, I think, you know, they say people buy from people, and I think it's because you like to hear about people's core values and things like that. Another thing which you'll do on the programme, speaking about your values and making sure you're conveying that out there, and I think tools like this are a brilliant vehicle to be able to do that. So get involved, come and have a go. If I can do it, I'm sure anybody can.
And that's again really important. Your background, we didn't meet at dance college, we went to the same college. I went a bit earlier. And I think another thing we talked about earlier, wasn't it, was that the stage in my life, so I'm nearly 49 now, and still I'm so keen to learn. I'm sort of hungry, you know, to learn more. I love business. But for my 20s, you know, I was performing on stage.
So exciting.
Well, just having fun, really. Doing what I loved. And that's what I grew up, and I didn't really know anything else. But then sort of coming into my 40s and just having this thirst, you know, to learn more about business, and I love it. So any age as well. So going on a training course, you know, at 49 to grow my business. I remember my dad was in the fire service. And so he's now 75, but he could retire at 50 with his pension. And at 50 he thought, I'm going to set up my own fire consultancy business. At 50. And I remember at the time, how old will I have been? Maybe I don't know, can't do the maths.
We're not from a math background.
But I was younger. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, he's 50 and just setting up a business.
What an inspiration for you. That's such a good role model to see doing that.
Absolutely. And he did great with that, you know, and continued to work, and he still loves business, you know. He is retired now, can I just say? He is retired now, and my mum would be like, when are we going to get our time? But he did that at 50, and I think it was really inspirational, you know, to see that he'd already done 30 years in the fire service and then went on to set up a business. Not saying we've just set up, you know, and Nick set up Giant Leap, you know, 15 years ago, and then we came to work together about 5-6 years ago. I think I'd always been heavily involved in the business, because if we had those bigger projects, and given my background as performing, you know, performing arts, and it's still in the arts, creative together, it sort of did. So those bigger projects, I always was involved in those, but it was on a project sort of basis if it happened. But then we took the plunge about 5 or 6 years ago and said, instead of pulling in different directions, you know, let's pull our resources, you know. So and that seemed to make sense to us, and then the business really has grown since we've been working together on it. And
it sounds like you've already got that mentality then to sort of take a look at what's going on. How can we do this better? So I think it's important to have that sort of outlook and be able to sort of go, I can do anything at any age. There's no limitations on anything. And also be willing to completely refresh things, overhaul. Like sometimes I guess it's, you could do something and try and make it work forever, but it might be that you need to take a new direction or something like that, and just constantly go with sort of what's working. And where you see that growing. But definitely age should not be any kind of factor.
It should be a factor,
I think it's brilliant. I think nowadays as well, it's more that we're surrounded by podcasts and things coming out of everybody's an entrepreneur, or it seems like it. So sometimes it can maybe feel intimidating that you don't know what somebody else knows, but there's no reason why you can't just start now, and the door is open to everybody.
Okay, Becca, so I have got 7 questions, quick fire questions for you. And I'm going to ask these on all my podcasts, but as it's the first one, I'm also going to answer them as well.
Great.
So first question to you is, what would you do if you couldn't be doing this, your job right now?
So that's a brilliant question. I will give 2 different answers. So one, if you could have any talent or any, you know, there's no limitations, then I think I would love to be a singer. I love to sing. I'm a, you know, professional shower singer. I think that'd be a brilliant job.
Oh, fantastic.
If I just completely switch lanes as to what I was doing, I've got a big interest in nutrition. I definitely don't eat perfectly, but I'm very interested if I start reading about something, go down a rabbit hole and just keep reading. And I'm always telling people, you need this vitamin, you need to eat that.
Yeah, and they are both completely different to what you're doing now.
Completely different.
I think for me, I always said this after I'd had like my first baby and now have 4. Well, they're not babies now, but the only thing that I've ever been like really interested in was being a midwife.
Oh, yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
That's, again, so different.
Yeah, you couldn't get any more different. I don't think I could do it. I think I'd be rubbish, but it's the one thing, you know, that I thought, oh yeah, totally different that I could do. Okay, question number 2. The favourite part of your job?
Definitely coming out and speaking to people, meeting new businesses. It's inspiring both ways. So I'm telling people about what we do and we can help them, but I'm getting to hear about all these things that I might never have known happen, like this podcast.
Yeah. And for me, I guess it's just filming days when we're all together, when the team is all together, when we're all working, having fun on those exciting projects. And everyone's usually different, you know, every project is different. So filming days are an exciting part of the job. Yeah. Okay, question number 3. So if you could go back a few years and give yourself some advice, what would it be?
That's a tricky one.
It is, isn't it?
I think lots of advice. So I think probably a classic that's for everybody is not caring what other people think and just going for it, because I think everybody...
Oh no, you picked my answer.
I think everyone doubts themselves, or you might second guess something, but just seize the day, do what you want to do, and good things will happen.
And that was absolutely mine, just not to care, not to care, go
easier
for it.
Easier said than done.
Yeah. I think as I get older, I find that much easier now.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I care a lot less about, you know, what other people think, or am I doing this right, and I'll just go for it. Yeah. Okay, so number 4. Okay, your favourite place to eat in Yorkshire? I have to ask this because I just love food.
In the whole of Yorkshire.
Yeah.
So many good places to eat, but one that's really local to me is De Sandro's Italian restaurant in, is it Gloucester Salandine Nook? Near Ainley Top Roundabout. And
right, you'd recommend?
I'd recommend. The food's gorgeous. They've been going a long time. It's a lovely place to be. Nice atmosphere. So yeah, get yourselves over for a pizza.
Amazing. I'll have to try it out. I would say for me, it's a restaurant in Leeds called Shao Prior. It's a Thai restaurant.
Oh, lovely. I love Thai.
It's incredible. Yeah, we don't get to go out that often, but if we do, it's usually top of our list. Yeah, it is really gorgeous. Would highly recommend.
I've never been.
Yeah. So question number 5, your future goals, or one of your future goals.
Oh, again, a tough question, but lots and lots of different goals. But I think you mentioned as you get older, taking a new perspective. I think having peace of mind, living in a lovely house with a nice view, with work-life balance, and I think still continuing to work in some sort of role that helps people.
Yes.
Yeah, so always having that kind of aspect to it.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. I think mentioning that work-life balance for me is I want a holiday home. I want a place abroad. It's a future goal. A place abroad where I know I can go with the kids.
Yeah,
just focus. Yeah, and just have that time with them, because we're working so hard all the time, which we're lucky because Nick and I get to work together and we love that, and we do get to, you know, run our own business together, but we do work a lot, and I want to have that quality family time.
Yeah,
that
it's nice to have something to focus on.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, number 6. So a day trip in Yorkshire. You might find that you were like, oh no, my geography's not great.
Terrible geography and a terrible memory. If someone was coming over as a tourist and saying, where nearby would you go and have a look at? Maybe you'd go to somewhere like York.
Yes.
Maybe at Christmas time.
Yeah.
It's got that cosy, nice Englishy feel with the cobbled streets and things like that.
Yes.
Maybe go spend a day there.
Good answer. I love York. It's beautiful. Good shopping as well.
Yeah, exactly. Important.
Yeah. I think for me, it would be the Yorkshire coast.
Yeah,
love
always
the
good to
Yorkshire
be by the
coast.
sea.
Yeah, it's exciting. Love it up there, and I'm loving it more as I get older as well. And then the last one, we couldn't not ask this one because we are a video production company, but your favourite movie?
Yeah.
There's so many. She was like, I can't answer this.
Yeah, I feel like I've forgotten every film I've ever watched, but some of the classics, like Romeo and Juliet, I remember I used to love that because of Baz Luhrmann, the type of filming it is, and just a classic. True Romance, the Tarantino film.
Yes.
Bit of a different one.
Nick loves that one.
Really, it's such a good one.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of at the moment. I've given you two. You asked for one.
That's two, yeah. Exactly. Mine is a mixture of great film and also musical theatre.
Oh, of course.
So mine would be Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Love Chicago. I mean, I loved it as a stage show, and then when the movie came out, and I know
amazing.
Rafi here actually likes Chicago as well. We were talking about it the other day. Oh. Brilliant. Thanks for answering those 7 questions. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up now. It's been so exciting to chat to you. I think I've expressed how excited I am about going on this course.
We're very excited next week. Very soon.
Yeah, I am truly. And in a few months' time, 4 months' time, I think it would be really interesting to have another conversation about it. Yeah,
I think it's really exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing where you are at the other end of this. And yeah, we'd definitely be more than happy to speak again.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming on, Becca.
Thanks for having me.
It was lovely to chat with you.
Thanks, Ellie.